My dear friends, every morning is not just another day, it is a sacred gift from the divine. When you wake up, you are not just opening your eyes, you are opening a door to infinite possibilities, blessings, and opportunities that God has already placed in your path. The question is, do we enter the day with gratitude, energy, and clarity, or do we drag yesterday's worries into today's sunrise? Remember, if you win your morning, you win your day, and if you win your day, you win your life. Today, I want to share with you how just 20 minutes every morning can completely transform the quality of your day and align you closer to the purpose that the Creator has written for you. Let us learn how to begin our day not with stress, not with rush, but with stillness, strength, and a connection to God. My dear friends, let me share with you the most beautiful way to begin your day. Start with gratitude. It may sound simple, but it carries the power to change the entire rhythm of your life. Gratitude is not just about saying thank you. It is about feeling thankfulness in the core of your heart, realizing that everything we have, even the smallest breath, is a divine gift from God. Think about it. When you wake up in the morning, do you open your eyes and immediately check your phone, scroll through messages, or worry about yesterday's problems? Or do you pause for a moment and acknowledge the miracle that your eyes have opened, that your heart is still beating, that life has given you another sunrise? Most of us are so used to rushing into the chaos of the day that we forget to notice the blessings lying silently before us. But the truth is, those who begin their mornings with gratitude carry a different energy throughout the day. Imagine two people waking up in the same situation. One wakes up irritated, complaining that the alarm rang too early, grumbling that it's Monday, annoyed about traffic or work waiting ahead. The other wakes up, places a hand on his chest, and says, "Thank you, God, for another chance to live. Thank you for my family, for my body, for my mind, for the roof above me, and for the food that will nourish me today." Both step into the same day, but their experiences will not be the same. One will see obstacles, the other will see opportunities. One will complain about problems, the other will recognize lessons. Gratitude doesn't change the circumstances, but it changes the way we see them. And when our vision changes, everything else begins to transform. Let me give you a simple daily life example. You know how sometimes we get irritated when our morning tea or coffee isn't perfect? We frown, we blame, we start the day with that frustration. But imagine this. What if for one day you had no tea, no coffee, nothing warm to comfort you? What if you had to start your morning with just plain water because you had no choice? Suddenly, that same cup you complain about would become precious. Gratitude teaches us to value what we already have instead of chasing what we don't. I once read a story of a man who survived a terrible accident. When he woke up in the hospital, his legs were broken, his body was in pain, but he smiled and said, "At least I'm alive. God has given me another chance." That man went on to recover, and when asked what gave him the strength, he said, "Gratitude. I could have cried about what I lost, but instead I chose to thank God for what I still have." Isn't that powerful? If someone lying in pain can still find gratitude, then surely we, with our daily comforts, can also start our mornings with it. Gratitude is also a magnet. Whatever you thank God for multiplies in your life. If you thank Him for health, you attract more vitality. If you thank Him for love, you attract more meaningful relationships. If you thank Him for opportunities, more doors begin to open. Why? Because gratitude aligns your heart with abundance. Complaints create scarcity. But gratitude creates expansion. Let us try this tomorrow morning. Before you even step out of bed, sit for just 2 minutes. Close your eyes. Place your hands on your heart and whisper, "Thank you, God, for this new day. Thank you for my breath, my mind, my loved ones, my work, my journey." Think of 3 things you are thankful for. It could be as small as a smile from a friend, as simple as the meal you ate yesterday, or as vast as the very gift of life itself. As you do this, notice the calmness that settles within you. Notice how the anxiety reduces and how peace quietly enters. In daily life, gratitude also changes relationships. Instead of focusing on what your family or colleagues fail to do, notice and appreciate what they already do. A simple thank you to your spouse, your parents, your children, or your coworkers can shift the entire atmosphere of your home and workplace. Where there is gratitude, there is warmth. Where there is gratitude, there is love. Some people say, "But what if I don't feel grateful? What if my life is full of problems?" My dear friends, gratitude is not about ignoring problems. It is about seeing beyond them. Even in the darkest night, there are stars. Even in hardship, there is at least one thing to hold on to. When we train ourselves to look for blessings, we realize that our problems shrink in size compared to the gifts we carry. So, tomorrow morning, when you wake up, do not let the first words be complaints. Do not let the first thought be stress. Let your first words be gratitude and your first thought be thankfulness. Because when you start your day with gratitude, you are not just beginning a day, you are beginning a life filled with grace, positivity, and divine alignment. Remember, gratitude is not an act you perform once. It is a way of life, a lens through which you see everything. And the most beautiful mornings belong to those who wake up not asking, "What do I lack?" but whispering, "Thank you, God, for all that I already have." And my dear friends, after gratitude comes something even more profound: silence and prayer. In today's world, silence has become a rare treasure. We live in a time where noise surrounds us the moment we open our eyes. Our phones buzz with notifications, the news floods us with headlines, our mind races with tasks to be done. But amidst this constant noise, the voice of God often gets drowned. Silence is not emptiness. Silence is where the divine whispers to your soul. Prayer is not just words you say, it is a bridge that connects your heart with the eternal source of strength, peace, and guidance. Think about this: when we wake up and immediately jump into activity, our mind is like a shaken glass of muddy water, cloudy, restless, unclear. But when we sit in silence even for a few minutes, the water begins to settle and clarity returns. In the same way, when you sit in silence and connect with God through prayer, your inner restlessness settles and peace flows naturally. That peace becomes the foundation of your entire day. Let me share an example from daily life. Imagine you are driving a car. You can have the best car full of fuel, but if the GPS is not set, you may end up lost or circling endlessly. Silence and prayer in the morning are like setting your GPS. They guide you in the right direction, reminding you not just of where you want to go, but of who you want to be. Without that alignment, you may still reach somewhere, but often not where your soul truly wants to be. Sometimes, people think prayer means asking God for things. Give me this, solve this problem, remove this pain. But prayer is deeper than requests. It is about surrender and connection. It is saying, "God, I trust you. Guide me today. Be with me in every step I take." This changes the relationship. Instead of approaching God as a shopkeeper to whom we give a list, we approach Him as a friend, as a guide, as a source of unconditional love. You may have noticed how in silence, solutions often appear. Have you ever had a moment where you sat quietly and suddenly the answer to a problem came to you? That's not coincidence. That is clarity born from silence. God speaks to us not in the noise of the world, but in the calmness of our inner being. That is why in the morning, even 5 minutes of silence can open the door to wisdom that hours of overthinking could never give. Let me tell you about a woman I once met. She was constantly stressed, always worried about her job, her responsibilities, her relationships. One day, she decided to change her mornings. Instead of rushing to her phone or emails, she began sitting quietly for 5 minutes every morning, closing her eyes, breathing deeply, and whispering a simple prayer: God, guide me, protect me, walk with me. Within a few weeks, she noticed something remarkable. Her stress levels dropped, her reactions to challenges softened, and her days carried a lightness that wasn't there before. She said, "It feels like I'm not walking alone anymore." That is the magic of connecting with God through silence and prayer. It transforms loneliness into companionship, confusion into clarity, and fear into faith. In daily life, silence also makes us better listeners. When our mind is restless, we interrupt, we react, we misunderstand. But when we practice silence in the morning, we cultivate patience. We learn to listen, not only to others, but also to our own inner voice. That inner voice, aligned with prayer, becomes a compass guiding us towards wiser choices. Some people may ask, "But how do I pray if I don't know the right words?" The truth is, God does not need your fancy words. He needs your sincerity. Sitting quietly, breathing deeply, and simply saying, "Thank you, God, I am here, guide me," is enough. Prayer is not about length, it is about depth. Even a single heartfelt sentence can connect you to the divine more deeply than hours of empty repetition. Silence and prayer also build resilience. Life will not always go as we plan. Some days bring joy and others bring struggle. But when your morning begins with prayer, you remind yourself that no challenge is bigger than the strength God places within you. A person who starts their day in silence and prayer may still face storms, but they will not be shaken. They will walk through the storm with calmness, with dignity, with faith. I invite you tomorrow morning, after expressing gratitude, to sit quietly, close your eyes, breathe slowly, let go of yesterday's noise, let go of tomorrow's worry, and just be here in the present moment. Whisper a prayer, not with your lips only, but with your heart. Feel God's presence around you, protecting you, guiding you, and then step into your day with that peace. My dear friends, remember this always. The world outside can be chaotic, but if the world inside is calm, nothing can disturb you. Silence and prayer are not luxuries, they are necessities for a meaningful life. They are the fuel of the soul, the anchor of the mind, and the bridge to God's wisdom. Start your day with them, and you will notice how your life slowly shifts, not in small ways, but in profound, lasting ways. Silence gives you peace. Prayer gives you strength. Together, they give you God. My dear friends, let us reflect on something very important. Just as our body needs food to survive, our mind also needs nourishment to thrive. But here is the question: what do we feed our mind with every morning? Too often, the first thing we feed it is chaos, endless news headlines, social media notifications, or unfinished worries from yesterday. We open our phones before we even open our hearts to God. And then we wonder why the day feels heavy, why we are restless, and why our minds keep running in circles. The truth is simple. Whatever we feed our mind at the beginning of the day becomes the seed that grows throughout the day. If the seed is negative, confusion will grow. If the seed is wisdom, clarity will grow. Just imagine a farmer who has the most fertile soil but plants weeds every morning. No matter how rich the soil is, weeds will always take over. The mind is like that soil. Each morning is a fresh chance to plant seeds of wisdom, love, and positivity. If we ignore it and fill it with garbage, then negativity will sprout. But if we consciously choose to nourish it with divine wisdom, then peace, focus, and strength will flourish. Think of a daily life example. Many of us wake up and instantly scroll through our phones. Maybe we read messages filled with complaints, see pictures that make us compare our lives with others, or get caught in the endless stream of bad news. Without realizing, this becomes the breakfast for our mind. And then, even before the day has started, we feel drained, anxious, or unworthy. But imagine starting your day differently. Imagine waking up, sitting quietly with a good book of wisdom, listening to a spiritual discourse, or reflecting on a powerful thought from the scriptures. Instead of anxiety, you feel calm. Instead of comparison, you feel content. Instead of restlessness, you feel guided. The food you gave your mind at the start has now shaped your entire day. Let me share a story. There was once a man who complained constantly that life felt heavy and stressful. He said he tried to be positive, but negative thoughts always pulled him down. One day, his mentor asked him, "What do you read in the morning? What do you listen to as you begin your day?" The man admitted that he always started his mornings with television news, emails, and social media. His mentor smiled and said, "Then do not be surprised. You are planting poison in your garden and expecting flowers to bloom." The mentor advised him to spend the first 20 minutes of his day reading something uplifting, something that reminded him of his higher purpose, something that connected him to God. Within a month, the man noticed a change. His mind was calmer, his thoughts were more hopeful, and his reactions became gentler. What changed? Not his job, not his family, not his circumstances. Only the food he was giving his mind. My dear friends, wisdom is like sunlight. Without it, the mind remains dark. But when wisdom enters, confusion leaves. When we read or listen to the words of saints, teachers, or sacred texts, our perspective expands. Suddenly, problems that felt huge seem smaller. Suddenly, things we used to chase blindly no longer tempt us in the same way. Wisdom reminds us of what truly matters. Take a simple example. Many people spend their mornings thinking about money, deadlines, or material goals. There is nothing wrong with striving for success, but if the mind is not guided by wisdom, we may chase success at the cost of peace, relationships, or even health. Wisdom realigns us. It says, yes, succeed. Yes, work hard. But remember, peace is also success. Character is also success. Service to others is also success. This balance only comes when we begin our mornings by feeding the mind with higher truths. You see, the mind is like a sponge. It absorbs everything it comes across. If you put it in muddy water, it will soak up dirt. If you put it in pure water, it will soak up clarity. So every morning, you must choose where you place your sponge. If you immerse it in wisdom, your mind will carry purity and light throughout the day. One practical way to do this is to dedicate at least 5 minutes each morning to reading a page of wisdom literature or listening to a spiritual reflection. Another way is to write down one thought of wisdom and carry it in your heart for the whole day. For example, you might read, "Peace does not come from outside, it comes from within." Then, whenever stress arises during the day, you remind yourself of this thought. That one drop of wisdom becomes a shield protecting you from the storms of the day. I want you to remember something very important. What you put into your mind in the morning is not just for you. It affects everyone around you. A mind nourished with wisdom speaks with kindness, acts with patience, and responds with love. A mind starved of wisdom speaks harshly, acts impulsively, and spreads negativity. So when you nourish your mind, you are not only blessing yourself, you are blessing everyone who crosses your path that day. So tomorrow morning, before you pick up your phone, pick up wisdom. Before you scroll through messages, scroll through the messages of the divine. Feed your mind with what uplifts, not what pulls you down. Because when you nourish your mind with wisdom, you are not just preparing for a good day, you are preparing for a good life. Remember, food keeps the body alive, but wisdom keeps the soul awake. And an awake soul is the most powerful force in this world. My dear friends, let us pause and reflect on something we often take for granted: this body that we live in. The body is not just flesh, bones, and muscles. It is a sacred temple, a priceless gift entrusted to us by God. Just as we would never allow a holy temple to gather dust, neglect, or damage, in the same way, we must treat our body with respect and care. Because without this body, even the greatest dreams, the most powerful prayers, and the highest intentions cannot be carried out in this world. Too often, people say, I have no time to exercise, no time to stretch, no time to take care of my body. But let me ask you, what will you do with all the time you save if one day your body refuses to support you? Isn't it true that we remember the value of health only when it is gone? We wait until illness arrives before we appreciate the miracle of well-being. But wisdom is to respect the body before it breaks, to strengthen it while it still carries us with grace. Imagine this: you buy a brand new car. It is shining, powerful, and full of potential. But if you never change the oil, never service it, never care for it, how long will it run smoothly? Eventually, the engine will fail. Our body is like that car, except infinitely more precious, because unlike a car, we cannot simply buy another one when this one wears out. The Creator has given us one body for this lifetime. Shouldn't we honor it by keeping it active, strong, and full of energy? I want to share a simple daily life story. A man once told me, I work 12 hours a day. I am too tired to exercise. Slowly, he developed health problems, back pain, fatigue, low energy. When he visited a doctor, the advice was simple: move your body. Stretch, walk, respect your body. He started dedicating just 15 minutes in the morning to stretching and light movement. Within weeks, his energy improved, his mood lifted, and even his productivity at work doubled. He realized that what he thought was a waste of time was actually the very thing giving him more time, more vitality, more life. My dear friends, moving your body in the morning is not about building six-packs or running marathons. It is about awakening the energy within you. A few stretches, a brisk walk, some deep breathing. It doesn't matter what form it takes. What matters is that you send a message to your body: I respect you. I honor the gift God has given me. When you do this, your body responds with strength, clarity, and resilience. Think of the times when you felt heavy, lazy, and unmotivated. Did you notice how your thoughts were also dull? The state of the body influences the state of the mind. When the body is stiff, the mind is restless. When the body is tired, the mind is clouded. But when the body is active, the mind becomes alert, focused, and joyful. This is why ancient traditions always linked physical movement with spiritual practice. They knew that a healthy body becomes a doorway to a healthy mind, and a healthy mind becomes a pathway to God. Sometimes people say, I don't need exercise, I'm fine. But ask yourself, do you want to live a life merely surviving? Or do you want to live a life full of vitality? There is a big difference between living long and living well. Moving your body daily ensures not only years in your life but life in your years. Here's a practical way to think of it. Every morning, as you brush your teeth or wash your face, you clean the outer body. But are you cleaning the inner body? Gentle exercise, deep breathing, and movement are like sweeping the dust out of your inner temple. They remove toxins, improve circulation, and fill you with fresh energy. This inner cleaning is just as important as the outer one. Let me give you another daily life example. A woman in her 50s told me she always felt exhausted and she thought it was just because of her age. But she decided to dedicate 10 minutes every morning to simple yoga stretches and mindful breathing. Slowly, she began to feel lighter, her back pain reduced, and her energy returned. She said, "I feel younger than I did 10 years ago." Was it magic? No, it was respect for her body. It was honoring the temple God gave her. And remember, movement is also a form of gratitude. When you move your body, you are saying, "Thank you, God, for these arms that can stretch, these legs that can walk, these lungs that can breathe, this heart that can beat." Many people in hospitals would give anything just to be able to walk freely, to breathe deeply, to move without pain. If you can, then don't take it for granted. Celebrate it through movement. My dear friends, tomorrow morning, instead of rushing into your day, give a few minutes to your body. Stretch your arms wide as if embracing life. Take deep breaths as if inhaling God's blessings. Walk a few steps with awareness, thanking the Creator for every movement. These simple acts will not just awaken your body, they will awaken your spirit. Remember always, your body is a temple. Do not neglect it. Do not abuse it. Respect it, honor it, care for it. Because when your body is strong, your mind is steady. And when your mind is steady, your soul can rise towards its true purpose. Moving your body each morning is not just an act of health. It is an act of worship, an offering of respect to the divine who gave you this life. Take care of this temple, and it will take care of you. Respect the body, and you respect God's gift. Air. My dear friends, every morning, most of us begin the day with a list. Things to do, calls to make, errands to run, goals to achieve. And while there is nothing wrong with having a to-do list, I want to remind you of something more powerful than tasks' intentions. You see, tasks are about what you will do, but intentions are about who you will be while doing it. And that, my friends, makes all the difference. Think of it this way. Two people can perform the same task, yet the impact can be worlds apart. One person may cook a meal simply to fill the stomach, rushing through it, irritated by the effort. Another person may cook the same meal with love, gratitude, and care, turning it into nourishment, not just for the body, but for the soul of everyone who eats it. The task was the same, cooking, but the intention behind it made it meaningful. This is why it is so important to begin your mornings not just by asking, "What do I need to get done today?" but by asking, "What kind of person do I want to be today?" Do you want to be patient, kind, courageous, peaceful, honest? Because when your being is aligned, your doing automatically carries a higher energy. Let me share a daily life example. Imagine a teacher entering a classroom. One teacher walks in thinking, "I must finish the syllabus, I must cover these chapters." Another teacher walks in with the intention, "I want to inspire these children. I want to awaken curiosity in them. I want to plant seeds of wisdom in their hearts." Both may complete the same lesson plan, but only one will truly leave an imprint on the students' lives. Why? Because intention shapes the energy of every action. The same is true in our personal lives. You may spend time with your family while your mind is distracted, or you may spend the same time with the intention to love, to listen, to connect. The minutes may be equal, but the impact is not. And when you make intention the foundation of your day, every action becomes an offering, every word becomes meaningful, and every relationship becomes deeper. Often people say, but isn't it enough to just get the work done? Let me answer with another example. Think of an artist painting a picture. One artist paints just to finish and sell the canvas. Another paints with the intention of expressing beauty, joy, or truth. The first painting may look fine, but the second will carry a soul. That soul is nothing but intention. In the same way, your life's actions can either be empty tasks or soulful expressions. It all depends on the intention behind them. Now, some of you might wonder, but how do I set intentions? It is very simple. Each morning, take a pause before you dive into the business of the day. Close your eyes and ask yourself, what quality of the heart do I want to live by today? If yesterday you were impatient, today set the intention to practice patience. If yesterday you felt fearful, today set the intention to act with courage. If yesterday you were too busy to connect, today set the intention to truly listen. Write it down if you can. Carry it with you like a compass, reminding yourself throughout the day. Another daily example, imagine you are going to work. You may say, my task today is to attend meetings, reply to emails, finish my project. But you can also add, my intention is to bring positivity into the workplace, to support my colleagues, to face challenges with calmness. Suddenly, your day stops being a series of boxes to tick and becomes a journey of growth and contribution. Intentions also protect us from getting lost in comparison. Many people spend their mornings worrying about how successful someone else is, how far behind they are, how much they lack. But when you set an intention, your focus shifts inward. This is who I choose to be today, regardless of what the world is doing. That inner clarity is more powerful than any competition. Let me share a story. A businessman I met once told me, I wake up every morning and ask, how much profit will I make today? But even with profit, I never felt satisfied. His mentor advised him to shift his morning question to, how much value can I create today? How many people can I serve honestly? The man changed his focus, and with time, not only did his business flourish, but his heart also became lighter. He said, for the first time, I feel peace at night. What changed? Not the business alone, but the intention behind it. My dear friends, life is not measured only by what we achieve, but by what we become. Tasks will fill your schedule, but intentions will fill your soul. A day filled only with tasks may look productive, but a day guided by intentions will feel fulfilling. And when you string together days of meaningful intention, you don't just live a life, you live a legacy. So tomorrow morning, do not just make a to-do list, make a to-be list. Ask yourself, who will I be today? And then carry that intention into every action, every word, every decision. Remember, the world will not remember you for how many tasks you completed, but for the love, the kindness, the courage, and the values you lived by. Tasks may end at the close of the day, but intentions live on in the hearts of people forever. That is why I say, begin your day not just with tasks to do, but with intentions to live by. For when your intentions are pure, every action becomes powerful, every moment becomes meaningful, and every day becomes a step closer to the purpose God created you for.